Welcome back, students. First of all, we will discuss some special doubts of students. We have to find which term of the sequence is 128 when the GP is given as, whether it is GP or any other, we don't know. So first we write this as 2 root 2, 4, and we have to find which term is 128. So if we assume that nth term is 128, now we have to check whether it's a GP or not. We know the method how to check whether it's an AP or not, and how to check whether it's a GP or not. If it's an AP, then common difference will be equal, and we have to do this in rough. So if we check it in rough, differences are not equal, as d equals to 2 root 2 minus 2, and in second difference is 4 minus 2 root 2. These two differences are not equal, means it's not an AP. So next we check for GP. So it will be a GP if we check it. R equals to 2 root 2 upon 2 equals to root 2. And again, means we are finding R by using ratio of second term to the first term. Now if we use the ratio of third term to the second term, it is 4 upon 2 root 2. So rationalize the denominator, rationalizing factor is root 2. So multiply by root 2 again. 4 root 2 by 2 root 2 into root 2, 4 cancel out root 2. Yes, it's a GP. Therefore, it's a GP with first term equals to 2, common ratio equals to root 2, and the nth term is 128, for which we have to find the value of n. So let's use the general formula for nth term. We know that it is a into r to the power n minus 1, that is 128 equals to 2 into value of r is root 2 whole to the power n minus 1. It implies 2 to the power, it will be 7, 2 to the 4, 2 the 8, 2 the 16, 2 the 32, 64 and 128, yes. And in this side 2 to the power 1 into 2 to the power half whole to the power n minus 1, that is 2 to the power 1 into 2 to the power, powers will be multiplied and then in multiplication they will be added. So 2 to the power 1 plus n minus 1 upon 2, while in this side it is 2 to the power 7. So if we compare the powers both sides, 7 equals to 1 plus n minus 1 upon 2. Powers of 2 will be same both sides. So it will give the result. If we transfer 1 to the left hand side, 7 minus 1 equals to n minus 1 upon 2. That is 6 equals to n minus 1 upon 2. Cross multiplying 6 to the 12 equals to n minus 1. It implies 12 plus 1 equals to n. It implies n equals to 13 is the answer. So 13th term will be 128. So now we will discuss the second doubt. If the 4th, 7th and 10th term of a GP are x, y, z respectively, prove that x, y, z are in GP. So whenever you have to prove that three terms are in GP, then prove that product of extremes equals to square of p. If we have to prove that x, y, z are in GP, it means first common ratio will be y by x and the second will be z by x, z by y. So if we cross multiply these two, it will give y square equals to xz. Means finally we have to prove that y square equals to xz. Then only it will be clear that x, y, z are in GP. So how to prove that y square equals to xz using these results which are given in the question. X is the fourth term and we know that fourth term is denoted by A4. So A4 equals to x. And formula for A4, we know that formula for nth term is a into r to the power n minus 1. So fourth term is a into r to the power 4 minus 1, which is equal to given as x. First equation. Next is seventh term. A7 equals to y is given. A7, we know that equals to a into r to the power 7 minus 1 using the same formula. Net term equals to a into r to the power n minus 1. A7 equals to a into r to the power 6, which is y. And next is 10th term, A10 equals to z. It implies, but we know that A10 equals to a into r to the power n. So it is equal to z. So this is equation number 3. And now if we check it whether it is satisfying the condition that product of extremes, that is x into z, x equals to a into r cube into z equals to a into r to the power 9. So it is a square into r to the power 9 plus 3, 12. So it is equal to a into r to the power 6 whole square, and we observe that a into r to the power 6 is y, so it is y square. It implies xz equals to y square, and so xy and z are in GP, hence proved. So this is one of the simplest method to prove that x, y, z are in GP. The next doubt, question number 10. The fifth, eighth, and 11th term of a GP are P, Q, and S respectively, so that Q square equals to PS. Very easy. A5 equals to, we know that AR to the power 4. A8 equals to AR to the power 7. A11 equals to A into R to the power 10. And they are equal to P, Q, and R. If we multiply, or if we multiply P and R, we are getting A into R to the power 4. As question has R as one of the term. So for common ratio, don't use this small r. Instead, you have to use capital R for common ratio. Abbreviation for common ratio as capital R. Why? As question contain small r. So P into R means, otherwise it will create a confusion. A into R to the power 4 is P, and Q equals to A into R to the power 10. So A into A square into R to the power 10 plus 4 is 14. So A into R to the power 7 whole square is there. And A into R to the power 7 equals to Q. So it is giving Q square. That is PR equals to Q square, hence proved. If ABC are in AP, then show that 3 to the power A, 3 to the power, 3 to the power C are in GP. To prove that 3 to the power A, 3 to the power B, 3 to the power C are in GP, first we multiply 3 to the power A into 3 to the power C. So it will give 3 to the power A plus C, as in multiplication powers will be added. Now one more thing is given, that ABC are in AP. So if ABC are in AP, then we know that if ABC are in AP, it means that twice of mean equals to sum of extremes. So in place of A plus B, if we write 2B, it is 3 to the power B whole square. It means 3 to the power A into 3 to the power C equals to 3 to the power B whole square, and it means product of extreme equals to square of mean, and so 3 to the power A, 3 to the power B, 3 to the power C are in GP, hence proved. Hope you all must have understood this. So let's discuss one more doubts. One more doubt is this question number 29. If period term of a GP is P, okay. If period term of a GP is capital P, it means if we find the period term, which we know that is denoted by AP, it is equal to capital P, and we know that its formula is A into R to the power small p minus 1 equals to capital P. So this is given. The question that pth term is P and qth term is Q and it is denoted by AQ equals to capital Q. It implies A into R to the power Q minus 1 equals to capital Q. Prove that nth term means we have to find actually nth term. Prove that in place of proving, if you consider that you have to find the nth term and you have hint also how to find it. As we have to prove that the nth term an is p to the power n minus q over q to the power n minus p whole to the power 1 upon p minus q. So whenever two equations are given, we have discussed it in last sessions also in last term. First, we will divide equation 1 from 2. So these two a's will be cancelled out and there will be only r in the question. So we can find the value of common ratio, then use this value of common ratio in first equation to find the value of first term. And when we have obtained first term a and the common ratio r, then we can easily find the nth term by putting the values of a and r in the formula for a, and that is a into r to the power n minus 1. So how to solve these two equations? By dividing equation 1 by 2. We write by dividing equation 1 by equation 2, we get AP over AQ equals to P by Q, capital Q. This it implies, and we know that Pth term is A into R to the power P minus 1 over Qth term is A into R to the power Q minus 1 equals to P by Q. So AA will be cancelled out, R to the power P minus 1 over R to the power Q minus 1 equals to then P by Q. And so in division powers are subtracted. So R to the power P minus 1 minus Q minus 1. On simplifying R to the power P minus 1 over R to the power Q minus 1, it is giving R to the power P minus 1 minus Q minus 1 equals to P by Q. It implies R to the power P minus 1 minus Q plus 1 equals to P by Q. It implies 1 will be cancelled out. R to the power P minus Q equals to P by Q. It implies R equals to P by Q whole to the power 1 upon P minus Q. So this is the common ratio R. Now we will find the value of first term by substituting value of this common ratio in either of the equation in 1 or in equation 2. So use equation number 1. From equation number 1, A into R to the power P minus 1 equals to capital P. It implies first term we have to find into common ratio is P by Q. We have obtained this whole to the power 1 upon P minus Q. This is the value of R only. And over this there is power of small p minus 1 equals to capital P. So it implies A into capital P upon capital Q whole to the power P minus 1 upon P minus Q equals to, this is not P minus Q, power will be multiplied, equals to capital P, which is equal to A into P to the power p minus 1 upon p minus q over q to the power p minus 1 upon p minus q equals to capital P. So it implies A equals to all the terms will be transferred to the right hand side. So q to the power p minus 1 upon p minus q is written in the numerator over the denominator p to the power p minus 1 over p minus q is written with the denominator. Now there are two terms of p. These are collected together and in division parts are subtracted. One is in numerator and the denominator has the power p minus 1 upon p minus q into q to the power p minus 1 upon p minus q. So p to the power p minus q minus p plus 1 over p minus q into q to the power p minus 1 upon p minus q. So 1 will be cancelled out. PP will be cancelled out. It's not 1, it's QP and P will be cancelled out. So P to the power it is 1 minus Q over P minus Q into Q to the power P minus 1 over P minus Q, which is the first term of this GP. And common ratio we earlier have obtained as P by Q whole to the power 1 upon P minus Q. Now to find the nth term, we will use these two values. This first term as A and common ratio as R. As we have to find an, so A into R to the power n minus 1. Now value of A is P to the power 1 minus Q over P minus Q into Q to the power P minus 1 upon P minus Q into R to the power, R means P by Q, whole to the power 1 upon P minus Q and whole to the power n minus 1. So it is equal to P to the power 1 minus Q over P minus Q into Q to the power P minus 1 upon P minus Q into P to the power n minus 1 upon P minus Q over Q to the power n minus 1 upon P minus Q. Finally, we will write terms of P together, terms of Q together, and we'll take a hint from the question also. What we have to prove, P in the numerator, Q in the denominator. So write all the terms of P in the numerator and all the terms of Q in the denominator. So there are two terms of P. So we will add their powers. As they are in multiplication, both are in numerator. 1 minus Q over P minus Q plus n minus 1 over P minus Q, and in the denominator Q to the power n minus 1 upon P minus Q is already there minus. We will bring this power of Q in the denominator, which is P minus 1 upon P minus Q. So it will be subtracted. So it will then give P to the power, LCM of the denominator is P minus Q. And if we add the numerators 1 minus Q plus n minus 1, 1 cancelled out, so it is n minus Q only. Our denominator is Q to the power P minus Q is the LCM of the denominator. So n minus 1 minus P plus 1, 1 cancelled out. So it is n minus P. Both have the denominator as P minus Q. So we can write P to the power n minus Q over Q to the power n minus P and whole to the power 1 upon P minus Q as the answer of the nth term. And this is what we have to prove in this question, hence proved. Hope you all must have understood this one also. So continue to ask your doubts